So this is your mandala assignment. The instructions are in Teams. When it's finished, it should look something like this, where you have 24 different shapes that have all been replicated about 12 times in radial symmetry, and you're going to assign it at the bottom. So we are going to do this in Illustrator. You are going to open Adobe Illustrator. We're going to say New File. We're going to make sure it says inches on the side, and it is going to be 8 inches by 8 inches. Okay, so make your canvas 8 inches by 8 inches square and say create, and you will have a white square piece of paper. Okay, so once you have your square, we're going to start by adding guides. So I want to go up and turn on my ruler so I can grab guides. So I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to come down to Rulers and say Show Rulers. That gets you your rulers. Okay, I'm going to click inside the ruler and drag down until I have a guide at the 4-inch mark. Okay. Now I'm going to right click on the guide so I can transform the guide, and I'm going to say rotate. So right click on the actual guide, right click, transform, rotate. And we do want it to rotate 30 degrees. So if yours does not say 30 right here, say 30 degrees. Do not click OK. Click copy. Okay, now you have two guides, one that goes all the way across and one that's on an angle. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate that one on the angle. So we're going to click on it to select it. So it's blue. And then I'm going to hit Command D 1, 2, 3, 4 times. If you have a black keyboard, it is the Windows key and the letter D as in dog. And that should divide your square evenly. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to align the guides to the artboard. Okay, so if you're looking at our instructions, we are on step number 6. We are going to align them to the artboard and the art panel, but we need to select them all first. So you may either click this little circle here to select them all and they turn dark blue, or you can hit Command A, either way. And then if your align panel is not up, you're going to go up here to Window and select Align so that your align panel comes up. Okay, mine's right here. I want them aligned to the artboard. So I'm going to make sure this toggle switch is selected. Okay, as opposed to this one or this one. We want the very first one, aligned to the artboard. Okay, once that's there, then I'm good. I'm going to lock this in place. It's settled. I don't need it anymore. Okay, I'm going to make a new layer. So I'm going to click the 3 little lines at the top. I'm going to say new layer. And I'm going to just call this one Draw 12. Because we're going to do 12 shapes replicated in this layer. Okay, so there's my layer. So that I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to draw a giant circle. So I'm going to get myself an ellipse, make sure I turn on a color. I'm just going to do black because that's easy. And I'm going to draw a circle from the center. So if you want to center your circle, you can put your cursor right in the middle. And if you hold down Alt on a Windows keyboard or Option on a Mac keyboard, you can click and drag and the circle will come out from the center. And then let go of your mouse button. And now you have a giant circle. All right, once we have our circle, that's going to help us see if our transform effect is working. So we're going to select that layer by clicking on this little circle over here on the right. Okay. And then I'm going to go up to Effect, Distort and Transform. Transform. And that's going to bring up this panel. Okay. This is going to be 360 divided by 12. Because a perfect circle is 360 degrees. Right? Copies, I want 11. And see how as I do that, my circle is changing. That tells me I'm doing it correctly. I have everything selected the way I need to. If you don't see this happening, then something's not selected correctly. Okay? Once your circles look like this, you can say okay. Okay. Then we're also going to duplicate this layer so it's ready when we want our second layer. So we don't have to redo all those settings. So I'm going to go up to the 3 little lines. I'm going to duplicate, draw 12. I'm going to change mine to green just so it's different. And I'm going to make this one A. And this one B. Okay. So now I have 2 different layers I can put shapes in. I'm going to turn off A for a minute so it's out of my way. And I'm going to turn off these big circles because I want them out of my way. So I'm going to start with my background images. Okay, so I'm going to start building some shapes. I can get any shape we want. I'm going to start with a star. And I'm just going to draw a star up here. I'm going to give it, we'll make this one yellow. Okay. So wherever I place this, around this line from the center up, it will place it in the same spot on every single line. So if I move it out, it moves them out. If I move them closer to the center, it moves them closer to the center. It just kind of depends where you want it. So you're going to start building your mandala, the base layer here, by adding shapes. Okay. If I want to use a polygon, change this just for fun. Let me show you how to change your polygon settings. Okay, so right now it's a hexagon. I can come over here and change my sides, and if I want it to be a pentagon, it goes to 5. If I want a triangle, I can knock it down to 3. If I want an octagon, I can bring it up to 8. It just depends what you're looking for. Okay, but there's your polygon settings. Okay. The other settings I want to show you are the pucker and bloat. So I showed them this yesterday. I'm going to select the star. If you go under Effects and Transform, there's one called Pucker and Bloat. So this allows me to change what those stars look like. So I can push them out and make them bloated. I can yank them down and make them skinny or pucker their edges, right? So if you want it to look more like a flower, it can be more bloated. If you just want to leave it alone, just hit cancel and it'll leave it alone. Okay. So you are going to create your mandala using shapes. If you want to use the paintbrush, like you can make a little squiggly here and it'll add whatever you do, right, in there. And if you don't like something, you can just click on it and get rid of it. Okay. But I would start, you're going to need 24 shapes total, and you're going to need a color scheme. So remember we talked about color schemes. You've got warm tones, cool tones, triadic, complementary. So you can pick what color scheme you want. Rainbow is not a color scheme, okay? So you need to have complementary colors. If I decide to do this in warm tones, like I might change this to some oranges, and every other shape I'm going to add, you know, shades of oranges, reds, you know. Now I've got some warm tones going, right? And I can move stuff over and place it. So I would do, like I said, about 12 base shapes in layer B, and then switch to layer A and do 12 or so smaller shapes or lines on top. Okay? And then that'll be your 24 that you need.